Hey besties, what's up? It is Friday night. Your girl just got home from work, so I'm still dressed up. I am tired as heck, but we're gonna persevere because we need to get lit, because that's what we do here on Friday nights. We get lit. Talk about literature. Anyway, I don't know what this is, but there's some drink stuff set up for me. So I typically make a mocktail for Friday Night Lit, and my production assistant is also the person that I'm married to. And they asked if they could surprise me with a drink for tonight's episode. So that's what's happening. I don't know what this is going to be, but we have some caramel skinny syrup here. We have plain water, which is in a soda stream bottle, and the soda stream is right here. So I'm assuming we're going to make that into some sparkling water. We have coconut milk, and we have maple syrup. And I'm told that this will be filled with ice shortly. So that's what's happening. I have no idea what this is going to be. I'm mildly concerned, but I'm trying to have a trusting heart. Let's just figure out what we're supposed to do to make this. And I'm going to tell you guys about the books that we're going to talk about tonight. And just a disclaimer for anybody who's new here, Friday Night Lit, I like to get into these books and I try to avoid real spoilers, but there will most likely be very heavy plot discussion of the books. So you will find timestamps down below for each book that is discussed, so that if it is a book you don't want to hear any heavy plot discussion about, you can skip right on past it, okay? So let me see what the first step is from our instructor and tell you which books we're going to talk about tonight. Instructor, what are we supposed to do first?
All right, step number 1, take the coconut milk and add 1 tablespoon of caramel and 2 tablespoons of maple syrup.
Okay, so 4 books, and I think I mentioned this in another video, my previous video, that I am airing Friday Night Lit 2 weeks in a row, which is not my typical. And so what I decided to do is tonight we're going to talk about all of the audiobooks that I listened to in the last couple of weeks, starting with The Tempest Blade by Danielle Jensen, which is book number 6 in the Bridge Kingdom series. This feels like it's going to be very sweet. Do I mix this?
Blender, use that blending tool for step 2.
We're going to mix this up. Smells good. Okay, what's next?
Either carbonated water or fill the cup with ice. Choose your destiny.
All right, I guess let's get the ice. Hold, please. 1 giant stein full of ice. And now I guess, have you already bubble pressurized this? Okay, so I'm gonna do that. So the second book that we have to talk about is going to be How to Train Your Dragon. Okay, now what do I do?
Now you're going to pour about half of the container full of your water and then cover it with the coconut.
We also need to talk about Yellowface. Okay, I went a little heavy on the sparkling water because I'm not sure if I trust this or not, and I love a good sparkling water situation, so just erring on the cautious side here. So just fill it the rest of the way up here. And then our last book is, what is it? Assistant to the Villain. This is what I'm drinking? What is this called?
Caramel Coconut Fizz.
Okay. Did you create this by yourself, or is this is someone's recipe?
Yep, found on food.com.
I'm a little bit scared.
Well, since you didn't do 50-50, it was wrong. You can blame yourself now.
Cheers. Well, let's go over to the chair and talk about these books, shall we? Okay. I'm quite nervous about this drink, but I'm just gonna go for it. Okay. Can you tell I have trust issues? It's very sweet. Oh, wow. What's the drink in like the Mexican restaurants? You have the orange one, the pink one, which is Jamaica, which is my favorite. And then you have the white one next to it, horchata. It's kind of giving me horchata, but like the poor man's horchata, but it's very sweet. Okay. I do not dislike it. I am anticipating not finishing it because of how sweet it is. Maybe I can drink it down and add some more fizzy water to kind of like unsweeten it a little bit. But okay, all right. I'll drink to that. Sure. So let's discuss the books. And I think I should start with Assistant to the Villain. You guys, so in this book, I'm assuming that most people have heard of this book before. So it started as a TikTok series and then became a book series. There's like Assistant to the Villain, Apprentice to the Villain. I don't even know, because there's like 5 books in this series and I don't even know what comes after that. But anyway, so it started as a TikTok series, and that's probably the most important thing to know about this. So the story starts with our main character just like traipsing through the woods or something like that. And she gets caught up with this guy who's also in the woods, who's hiding from people. Turns out he's the villain. He's like the evil villain. And we get a lot of inner monologuing from her. And he basically saves her from the people who are trying to kill him. And then they end up going back to his evil lair, and he offers her a job because she's like poor and destitute. And she's complaining about needing a job. And so he's like the nice villain. I don't know. So it's about her working for him as his assistant, and they are going through their day to day, and there's a plot to kill him, which, I mean, that shouldn't be shocking. He's the villain. And she basically is like helping him solve this plot. Now, here's the thing. The story is very layered. There's every kind of twist and turn you can imagine. Obviously, she starts to like fall in love with him, I guess. And we don't know if this is like unrequited love or what's going on. And I'm rolling my eyes because it's supposed to be a funny, almost satirical, if not completely satirical story, romantic-y story. But saying that, acknowledging that, knowing that going into it, it was a little too silly goofy for me. Like, I just remember listening and being like, can you knock it off? Like, can you be for real for 2 seconds? It felt like every little kind of like funny or like well talked about thing that happens in romantic books had to be crammed into this. And I think that was the author's point. I think that maybe that was kind of like the point of the TikTok series, which, full disclosure, I've never watched it, and I don't even have TikTok anymore. So I would never will watch it. But I think that was kind of supposed to be the point of it. I just didn't like it. I have read satirical books before, and I didn't find them to be overly goofy, overly silly. I found them to be just the right amount of goofy to pull off still writing a book. And this was just like a lot of playing around. Like, I don't know. I was about 70% of the way through the audiobook, and I was like, I genuinely do not care about these people or this book. But I was 70% of the way through. I was in the middle of a long car ride, and I just didn't feel like pulling over to find another audiobook to listen to. I was driving for work, so you know your girl was going to have to be safe. I didn't feel like pulling over to find another audiobook to listen to. I was just trying to get home. So I kept listening to it. And the whole way I was like, surely there's a point where this is going to get better and I will start enjoying this book. The point never came. And I got home and I only had about 36 minutes left in the story. And I was like, should I just DNF this? But at the point where I've already listened to a 14-hour audiobook and only have 36 minutes left, I think I just had to stick it out and finish it. So I finished it. But like, I just did not care. And I'm sorry to the author of this book. I don't even need to be sorry. It didn't work for me. She has thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people who love this book, who love this series. So she's going to be okay without me enjoying the book. So I'm not even going to apologize. I just did not enjoy this book. Vibes for me, I mean, I would give it like a 1. I feel like a 1 should really be reserved for a book that like hardcore sucks. This book didn't hardcore suck. This book just didn't do anything for me personally. So maybe I would give the vibes a 2. That seems fair. It just didn't do it for me. And I don't have any desire to continue on in the series. If you love this book, I love that for you. Can you tell me why? If I'm missing something, is it that you have to see the TikTok series in order for the book to be meaningful? Has anybody read this book or listened to this book and not seen the TikTok series first? Like, someone help me out because I really wanted to get it. I really did, because I've been so tempted to buy these books in the store, and I'm very glad that I didn't, because I think I would have been disappointed. Let me know what it is that I'm missing, that I did wrong, that I just wasn't understanding. Or maybe everybody's lying when they rate it. I don't know. I'm not sure. Oh, have you guys ever had, it's giving me like so many different things. Have you guys ever had a cream soda? It's on the verge of being a cream soda. It's just missing the soda. It has the carbonation and the cream, but it doesn't have that like root beer-y, soda-y background to it. It's fine. It's getting better. Every sip I take. Moving right along. I also listened to How to Train Your Dragon. I listened to this one specifically for a reading challenge that I was doing. And I don't know that I would have picked up How to Train Your Dragon otherwise, but I liked it. I thought it was super cute. So, this is a book for tweens, and it's about this guy. What's his name? Like Hiccup Horrendous or something like that. Horrendous Hiccup, something like that. And he is part of a crew, and they have to go and steal dragon eggs and then raise their dragons. And they have to train their dragons in order to stay in the clan. And he basically gets a dud dragon, and everybody's making fun of him. And to the point where his dad is like the leader of the fighting clan. Listen. The details are escaping me at this moment. I read this for a reading challenge. I thought it was cute. I didn't commit it to memory. I'm not going to be continuing with any other Training Your Dragon books or anything like that. So I didn't commit all of the hard details to memory, but his dad's basically like the leader of the council, the clan council, the town council, whatever it is. And his dad basically agrees with the townspeople that his dragon is terrible and he doesn't deserve to be here. And he banishes him. Okay. And as it turns out, even though your boy's dragon kind of sucks because the dragon does whatever he wants to do and not what he's being told to do, Hiccup and his dragon are basically the only people who can save the town from utter devastation when another grand level master dragon shows up on their shores and is basically about to wreck shop. So it's a lesson for kids to be inclusive. Don't make fun of other people's dragons just because they don't listen when they're told to do something, and about not underestimating I thought it was heartwarming. I thought it was cute. I thought it was heartwarming. I'm not the target audience. I am almost 43 years old. I have 0 children. I am not a target audience for this, but I'm glad I read it. I thought it was adorable. And I would totally reread this with my nieces. They might think it's cute. And maybe they can have a little kid conversation with me about this book that will show me the lesson, show me the life hack. Maybe they can lead me in a discussion about this book that will make it have a little more sticking power for me. And I think it was just that I was I'm not going to do anything with this book after this. So I didn't try to make anything about the book stick, any of the minute details. I still have the overall story in my head. Anyway, so for How to Train Your Dragon, vibes. The vibes were pretty high. I would give the vibes a 4. I was chilling. I loved this story. I thought it was super adorable. And if I had children, I think that I would read the whole series with them. I would probably watch the cartoon with them too. The animated movie thing situation, I'd probably do that with them too. But being me, myself, and I, and no, but it was adorable. So yay for that. What more could you expect from me? Okay, you guys, my nose is like really itchy. Like the outside, like the skin on my nostril is like really itchy. And I don't know, like, am I having an allergic reaction to something? What's happening to me right now? Actually, I might be having an allergic reaction to something. I'm like starting to get like stuffy, like, what's happening? I gotta drink more of my Coke float without the Coke. Yeah, it's like giving like melted ice cream in a root beer float or a Coke float. But I already drank the Coke out of it. I'm just going to sit here and tell you what this is giving every single time I pick it up. I'll tell you what, it's better than that one drink that I made one time, the hot chocolate. That was so bad. So it's better than that. I can actually drink this without trying to gag. Okay, so the next book is Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. Let me tell you something. There was no singular point. Okay, hold on. Let me back up. So in Yellowface, it is the story of an author who she has an author friend. Friend is a loose, we're using that word loosely. She has an author acquaintance who she's hanging out with, and she goes to the author's apartment and the author dies. And so the main character of this story steals the manuscript of that author's book, the finished manuscript, and then goes on to publish it. It's important to know that the author who died was an Asian woman, and the author, the main character who stole her manuscript, is a white woman. Okay, so she stole homegirl's manuscript and then went and published it as if she wrote it herself. And she had been a struggling author before that. And like the friend who she stole it from was a pretty well-established, very well-liked author. And so she stole the manuscript, published it, got like critical acclaim for it. And she basically had 100 million excuses for her behavior the whole way through. The entire story, she spent making excuses for her racist behavior. She spent making racist comments and then excusing it away. She would start a statement with like, those people XYZ. And then she'd be like, well, it's okay for me to say it because they already have enough. Like, there was no singular point in this story where I did not want to scream and possibly more than scream, punch this girl in the face. No singular point. I mean, we started off with me wanting to hit her, and Rebecca Kuang never took her foot off the gas pedal with that one. Okay. I, at some point was like, is there a lot of self-insert in this story? Obviously it's not as the white woman, but as the Asian woman who was stolen from. It felt very real. So I had a lot of rage. I will say that I listened to this book on the independent bookstore day, like that weekend, because I went on a 10-store book crawl. And so during that, I started this book at the beginning of that trip, and I literally finished it as I was pulling into the parking lot at bookstore number 10. So it kept me entertained during bookstore crawl weekend, but like, I was so angry. The amount of rage that I feel for having listened to this book is very, very high. That being said, the vibes on this, I mean, listen, this was very well written. And so the vibes on this one, super high. I'm giving the vibes like a 4, high 4. It was very well done. That is why I had so much rage. My rage is not at the written material. My rage is at the character who came off the page being just racist. And a thief at that. A plagiarizer. A colonizer. A colonizing plagiarizer. All these things put together. This is a very tall glass. Yeah. So that was Yellowface. Okay, so the last audiobook that I listened to was The Tempest Blade, which is book number 6 in Danielle L. Jensen's The Bridge Kingdom. Now, y'all been here for a while. You will have ridden through the entire series with me. I don't want to I like to do heavy plot discussion in Friday Night Lit, but being that it's book 6 in a series that just like, I don't want to really do heavy plot discussion on this. Here's what I want to do. I want to tell you guys that the Bridge Kingdom itself is about I was going to say a civilization, an empire that had, well, no, it's not an empire, girl. Do you know what empire means? So it's about a set of like warring countries who are at war basically over this bridge, which is where the central means of transporting goods happens. And so there's the one kingdom that basically is the controller, the owners of the bridge, and everyone else depends upon them to transport goods to trade. And basically, like all these other rulers of the other surrounding kingdoms are basically trying to get that bridge for themselves. Like they're trying to cut deals, they're trying to steal the bridge, et cetera, et cetera. And so what happens in the overall story is that everybody kind of ends up being like semi sort of related to each other in one way or another through intermarriage and all kinds of things like that. And so we have the first 2 books are focused on one couple, and then the second 2 books are focused on another couple, and that other couple happens to be the brother of the girl from the first 2 sets. And okay, you're following? And so then the last 2 books, books 5 and 6, are focused on the sister of the boy from book 1. And like everybody is like intermarried and like it's crazy. Like, do you guys not have anybody else to marry? But anyway, I guess that's how the royal people do it. So they're like, meanwhile, we have because it's a romantasy. So meanwhile, we have the romance aspect of it going on. And then we also have like the warring kingdoms aspect of it. And like everybody hunching everybody up in here. And like, it's hard to have loyalty to any one country as the reader, as the persons in the book. In book 6, Ms. Danielle takes us on a ride. Okay. She takes us on a freaking ride. And we end up getting the perspective of like everybody, like all 6 of the characters in the coupledoms. We get all of their perspectives in book 6, which well done. Because I remember finishing book 5 and thinking that book 6 was going to be like book 5, which was just going to be the continuation of that couple's story. And I said to myself, I said out loud, I said to Danielle Jensen, I said, I would love a book 7 where we get everyone's perspective to kind of wrap everything up. Mama had already delivered that in book 6. A couple things out of this book. One is a little spoilery, okay? So come back in like 30 seconds after I say what I need to say. I'll put a timestamp right here. Come back at that time after I say what I'm about to say. Okay, in the book, there is this servant girl. I believe her name is Hazel. And Hazel is literally a servant to Anna, who is a princess who is at another nation's castle to get married to one of the princes. She ends up being married to a different prince in the end. And Hazel ends up being the one who basically wins the war for them. Like she going doing all kinds of things she ain't supposed to be doing, but she's the one who gets in the home field advantage. And that's how they win the wars, because of what Hazel did. And then they decide to reward Hazel by inviting her back to the castle to be the queen's servant. I'm like, bitch, I just won you the war. I can't become a lady. I can't get a little title. I can't get deeded lands. You want me to come back and be your servant? What do you, ma'am, I take everything back. I'm not doing anything. Imagine sticking your neck out like that. Basically, she could have been executed for what she did by the rulers that were in place when she did it. And they're like, please come back to the castle and serve my lady. Excuse you? So I feel bad for Hazel, and I would like to have words with Danielle for that, because that's a terrible ending for Hazel. Anyway. All right, welcome back if you were avoiding that spoiler. I kind of went off a little bit. It was supposed to be 30 seconds, but I think I talked longer than that. Anyway, so, the book I thought was very well done, and I loved it. I'm a little bit sad that it's gone. I loved it to the point where even though I didn't really care for books 1 and 2 that much, I'm on my shelf trophy game now. I also would like to do a reread of this series, which is big. I didn't even reread any Sarah J. Maas. I would like to reread this series and do a tandem read. Now, Danielle on her Instagram published a tandem read like through all 6 of the books, so that you get the story in a linear fashion. Like, this is happening at the same time as this, as opposed to the way you read it in publication order, where there's some overlapping of things between books. So she very kindly put out that guide, and I would like to read it that way, but I would like to eyeball read it. So that's more than likely going to be happening at some point soon. Just saying. Vibes, we're going to give the vibes a 5. I love this book. I thought it was fantastic. So, that's a 5 for book 6. And overall, the series, I'm giving the whole series vibes of like a 4. Now, I'm telling you, I really just didn't care about book 1 and 2, but somebody, actually multiple bodies on the internet, was like, you gotta stick through it. And I'm like, do I, bestie? Like, I don't think I do gotta stick through it, but I'm very glad that I listened to them, because top notch, A+. Go ahead, Danielle. You did your thing. All right. Except for what you did to Hazel. So I feel like this was a shorter episode than usual, which, hey, great, fantastic. Like I said, I changed the order of what I was publishing. So you're getting Friday Night Lit tonight, and next Friday should technically not be a Friday Night Lit episode, but we're going to do it again anyway. But in that episode, we will talk about all of the books that I eyeball read recently. So I think there are 4 of those also. Since you made it this far, go ahead and hit the likey button. Click the subscribe button if you haven't done that yet. Leave me a comment down below and help me understand Assistant to the Villain. And I was gonna say that I will see you in a fortnight, which is what I usually say at the end of Friday Night Lit, but that's not true. So I'll see you next week. Actually, I'll see you before that, because there will be a video in between. But yeah, I'll see you next week, okay? Cheers. And no, I haven't finished this yet. It's very sweet, which means I'm going to drink it very slowly. That's what happens when I have a sweet drink. So it is what it is. But I'm going to keep drinking it off camera, okay? All right. Salut.